I'm Kyle, driving in my van.
So I got a little entertainment here at the Hoonigans channel. Working on a new part today. Oh, it's another part similar to another one I have already made. But it's a little confusing, so I thought I would show you some of what's going on. So here's the part. Right here, base plate. These are my list of tool paths that we've got going on to make the first side. And then we got this to do the second side. But I'm going to have to put it in a vise using two vices, one for 2 parts on the first side and one for 2 parts on the second side, which has made me have to break all this up into a bunch of little spots, little order of operations, I guess you could call it, and duplicate some of them, like that one, and then that one, and then this one is duplicated but only by the home offsets, by this coordinate right here, so it'll do it twice depending on where I put the coordinate systems. That's a duplicate of the first side, duplicate of the first side, back to duplicating the second side. It's all gonna, the second side will be inside of this set of jaws. So if you're not thoroughly confused yet, I'll show you some more. Key to this whole thing with being in the computer to the machine is for the first setup. You can see the silhouette is my raw material. I'm going to have to tell the machine where this X, Y, and Z 0 is. For the second side, I will have to tell it where this one is for both parts that will be in this fixture. It's actually going to be this way. So there'll be one here and one there. And on the first side, no jaws. I only have to tell it where this one is because we're doing a pattern which will revolve it around an axis that I've created. And as long as I get the second piece of stock in the right spot, it'll make another part. So let me figure out where some of this is, because it's been a minute since I've done it, and I've taken some notes on where my zeros are going to be, and then I'll go and set it up in the machine and show you that. Alright, so I've gotten a couple questions on what I'm doing when I'm setting up the machine for the parts, and we start off by setting our home locations for the actual program, and this is based on where the machine home is. So when I send the machine to its pre-programmed home, the table is in this location. You can see how it's all the way pushed over to the side and pushed up front here. Now, using what they call work offsets, I can set up each location of where the part's going to be, where the part program has its 0 in it. So right now I have it moved over to one of the part work offsets, and now I've stored it in the machine so that when I run the program, it knows that this location is where X and Y 0 starts. So we need to set that for each part location in most cases. Sometimes, like in the first side, I'm going to only use one work offset, and in the program I've created tool paths for 2 parts. So as long as I get the material in the right spot, it'll make 2 parts. Now the up and down of the spindle, which is the Z, is stored in a different way. There is a work offset 0, which is where I touch my tool off, which is the top of my vise, but it can be anywhere. And then in the work offsets, you store the distance from here to wherever your program is. which is a little confusing, I guess. But so if I touch all my tools to be 0 here, and my part is up a little bit, then I need to put that distance in. Here is the location in the machine where I can store work offsets. And then this is an area in the machine where you store your tool heights. So when we touch the tool off, it'll store where the 0 for the tool should be, basically. And in this case, it'll allow me to use something in between what I'm touching off and the tool, which is, I use a 1/2" dowel pin. And then it'll compensate for that, subtract it, give me a number, and then it stores it in here. Now I've got the tool in a location which is basically a 1/2" above where I'm going to set all my tools. Then by saving that location, I can use my work offset to tell it how far it is from there to where I want my program Z0 to be, which in this case is going to be the bottom of my parts. So it's an offset, you keep it stored in the machine, and now when I run the program, I'll tell it which work offset, and the program will be ran from there, and based on all the tool paths being programmed from that same location, you should end up with a part. But you'll have to dial it in and make small adjustments to get everything straight, but this gets us really close to start. Some people get it right on. I only got an edge finder, so I got to double check all the time. I'm not trying to prove I'm like the best machinist or anything. There's other people out there that pride themselves in machining and teaching people, so if you want to learn more about each little thing, you can look them up, like edge finder and work offsets, and you know, in fact, like the Haas tip of the day guy, he's got a lot of good information if you're really interested about specifics. Or you can leave a comment down below and I'll try and at least show you what I know about it. Alright, so let me see if I can explain this work offsets and the parts, how it works out. This one I have a spacer I'm using underneath it that I made, and I created a 1/2" little wall there that I push the parts against, and then actually set my stop against the spacer. That way I can set 2 parts at once. Where this one, it's got 2 individual cavities for each part, 1 for each part. Alright, so for these 2 parts on the first side, I'm using 1 work offset here, and in the program I'm rotating the tool paths around a point, imaginary point right here, to create this part, duplicating the program. I needed to be able to rotate the part because the tool comes in this way, and if I did them facing each other, it would hit the other part. On this set, I'm using 2 work offsets, a 0 here and a 0 here on the bottom of the part, and it runs the same. When I have 1 tool out, I have it set up to where I can do all the work that needs to be done on all 4 parts. Then it changes tools, and if I got work to do on any one of the parts, then it'll do it and then go back and change the tool until it finishes the parts. So in total I'm using 3 work offsets. This is the finished part, and to do the second side I'm using what they call soft jaws, aluminum vice jaws, so that you can cut the feature or whatever you need into the jaw itself to help hold the part. So that way I can hold the part and not hurt it. Well, that's it for this part. It'll be running for, I got about 14-15 hours. It takes 17 minutes to cycle. I get 2 parts out of it every time. And then be on to the next part.